with Falcon football coach Matt Walker. And Matt, last week the Falcons went on the road to Indiana and lost to Trine University, number 22 ranked in the country. The final was 42-20. Could you talk a little bit about that game?
It was an interesting one. I told a lot of people it's one of the more bizarre games I've ever been around. And I think right off the bat, just like I said after the game, it's why stats are for losers, because you look at the stat sheet. I think we doubled their first downs, had over 400 yards of offense, time of possession almost 2-1. Situation where I don't think that a single Trine fan or player or coach or one of our players or coaches or fans would tell you any different, that the result on the scoreboard was maybe not a great indicator of exactly how the game was going. It was just one of those bizarre things where everything but the scoreboard, you felt like you were doing a good job. But that's what it takes to win big games, and we have to, we got to figure out a way to win, and the moral victory thing is important, and it's good, but it's only going to last so long and only going to go so far, and I get that. I think the kids get it. We're being realistic about it. The one thing that's clear is we did a lot of good things and showed up in a lot of areas very well, but we have to cut down on some. Our mistakes are really costing us. I know that sounds simple, but our mistakes aren't changing the possession. I mean, our mistakes are costing us 6 points every time it happens. The big plays on defense, the turnovers on offense. We have to find a way to limit the mistakes that we made. But we're going to take the positives from the game. And I told the kids the most important thing we got to do moving on is we got to stay the course a little bit. The plan in place is good, and we all believe in it. But we got to keep challenging ourselves to get better. We have a bunch of kids that play tremendously hard, and there isn't one time where I've looked on the film and said I don't like our effort. Our effort has been there. We have good kids. We fight. We strain. We work hard. We just gotta keep challenging ourselves to do that. And if you can keep that up, good things are going to happen to us on the scoreboard. And we're ready to move on.
Matt, looking at the players of the week from last week, on the offensive side, halfback Taylor Edwards was the team's offensive player of the week, and he was also named the WIAC offensive player of the week. After he rushed for 240 yards, he averaged 7.1 yards per carry, carried the ball 34 times. He was a real workhorse, it looked like. Had a long run of 31 yards and scored on a 14-yard touchdown runs. Could you talk about Taylor's play a little bit?
Yeah, obviously, again, everybody knows our game plan going in is going to get the ball in Taylor's hands, and boy, he really came through for us. Put up some gigantic numbers. You can tell because of the numbers he put up that we obviously played well up front. I mean, we are front five, front six did a wonderful job of getting him into the secondary. Our fullback, Joel Yogers, probably played as good of a game as anyone I've ever seen, not putting up big numbers because he just didn't get a bunch of ball touches, but graded out as high as anyone I've ever seen and played tremendously well. So those two things really helped get Taylor the numbers that he did, along with his ability and all the great things that he brings to us. So that was big, and kept us in the game. I mean, despite the score, I mean, we found ourselves in a 2-3 score game there early in the second half and still had a shot, and we're kicking onside kicks and scratching and clawing and trying to find ways back in the football game. And so again, the kids never quit. But it was big by Taylor, and we put up huge numbers on offense. I mean, it was a day where again, we got to score more and find ways to win.
On the defensive side, Matt, linebacker Nate Smits was named the team's player of the week. He finished with 7 solo and 9 total tackles in the game. He had 2 tackles for loss of 8 yards and also forced a fumble. Could you talk about Nate's play?
Yeah, it was big. I mean, just watching the game, you noticed him in the backfield all day. I mean, he was doing a good job of picking some run-throughs and getting in the backfield and causing problems. A couple big 3rd and 4th down stops where he went in and made the play behind the line of scrimmage. One of those things where you're kind of, especially as an offensive coach, being a head coach, where sometimes you're obviously paying attention, but you're kind of getting, to be honest, you're getting yourself a little bit ready for the next offensive series while watching the defense. And the one thing I kept noticing, I kept hearing Nate's name over the announcing thing of the PA, and in my head, I'm telling myself, boy, I can't wait to watch him on film and really see how well he's doing, because I'm paying attention, but I'm also getting ready for the next series on offense. But you just kept hearing his name over and over. You knew he was making plays, and he was showing up, and that was big for us. And had some other good individuals. I think our secondary played well. Again, just we gave up, the big, and then the players would be the first ones to say we hurt ourselves with some big plays again defensively.
On the special teams side, Brad Beskow was named the team's player of the week. He had picked up a block punt, returned it 27 yards for a touchdown early in the fourth quarter. The first time that the Falcons have returned a block punt for a touchdown since the 2002 season. He also returned 3 kickoffs for 68 yards and had a long return of 28 yards. Can you talk about Brad's play?
Yeah, it was big, and obviously, we're scratching and clawing there in the second half to try to get back into it. And Charles Dixon goes up and blocks the punt, and wonderful effort, hustle play. And Brad had the awareness to not just fall on it. It would have been an easy situation. A lot of people would have just fallen on the ball, but because we were going to retain possession, we had a chance to scoop and score, and did a good job picking it up. And the effort when he picked it up, and the one thing that showed up on film, we showed the kids, we said, hey, here's an example of what we're all about. You see 6 or 7 guys really busting it to try to get in front of Brad to lead block for him to get him in the end zone, and that was what we're playing. Then the return game was big. I mean, we really focused on that aspect of our football team coming between week 1 and week 2. We had to get better on kickoff return and really clean some things up, and it showed. It allowed Brad to find some seams and do some things down the field. So that was a big day for him.
Looking ahead, Matt, the Falcons on Saturday, 1 o'clock, will go to UW Eau Claire, play at Carson Park. Usually when you talk about Eau Claire, you're talking about a conference game, but this is a non-conference game as part of the WIC cost containment program. But Falcons will be facing the Blue Gulls. What do you know about Eau Claire?
Well, that they're I think the strength with them right now, they return so much experience. I mean, they have so many people back on both sides of the ball, and in every spot. I mean, in some of their key spots, the quarterback and the entire secondary's back, and so I think that the variable of experience, I think, is one of the most important in this formula for trying to find success is having good experience, and they definitely have that this season. And then I think the other thing is they got to be confident. I mean, they're coming off of a nice win against St. John, and I think that they're excited about their year, and I think they got some very quality players. And I mean, I don't think it's a secret too that they're going to be hungry for us. I mean, with us beating them last year, and I don't think I'm saying anything that is Baltimore material. Everybody, I think, understands that they're going to be excited for us, and we understand that they're going to be excited to play us, and so it should be a fun one. I'm really looking forward to it. Again, this is my first kind of chance to to get into this conference play. As you mentioned, even though it's non-conference, this is kind of my first taste versus another conference opponent. I couldn't be more excited. I know the guys they're ready to go. I mean, it's kind of a chance to take a little bit of a not mid-year, but a point in your schedule. You say, okay, we've had a rough couple weeks, done some really good things, but let's refocus. Let's get back on track. Let's take a deep breath, and let's get ready for this kind of next season to come. Because one thing we talked about too is we put up a lot of goals that we want to accomplish as a team, and I told the guys, I said, I just brought the list, a physical piece of paper that had what we wanted to accomplish. I said, none of what's happened the first 2 weeks has changed any of our ability to accomplish these goals, and I think it got us refocused and got everybody back on track. Said, hey, we can still do everything that we set out to do at the beginning of the year, despite what's happened these first 2 weeks. And so we're going to be ready to go. We know they're going to be ready, and it should be a fun Saturday.
Matt, thanks for your time. We'll look forward to the game on Saturday, and good luck to the Falcons. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.